Have you ever felt completely exhausted? Like you're running on empty with nothing left to give? That feeling is called burnout. Modern life is a relentless cycle of deadlines and responsibilities. But what if I told you that thousands of years ago, a group of people faced pressures far more intense than ours, yet they rarely, if ever, burned out? I'm talking about ancient warriors, think about it. Roman legionaries, Spartan hoplites, Japanese samurai. Their lives were filled with unimaginable hardship, constant training, and the ever-present threat of death. Their stress wasn't about a tough project at work, it was about life and death on the battlefield. So how did they not just survive, but thrive under such extreme conditions? They relied on a mental framework that modern society has largely forgotten. Today, we're going to dive deep into two of the most powerful codes in history, Stoicism and Bushido, and uncover how their ancient wisdom can be the ultimate antidote to modern burnout. Let's start with the Stoics. You might picture old men in togas, but Stoicism was the unofficial philosophy of the Roman Empire's military and political leaders. Think of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in the world, who spent years on the brutal northern frontier, leading his armies. At night, in his military tent, he didn't scroll through social media. He wrote what we now know as meditations, a personal journal filled with Stoic principles for living a good life. The core idea of Stoicism is simple but profound. Focus only on what you can control. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. You can't control the weather, the economy, what your boss thinks of you, or if your internet goes out during a big presentation. Worrying about these things is a waste of your precious energy. What can you control? Your thoughts, your actions, your responses, and your effort. That's it. A Roman soldier couldn't control if the enemy would attack at dawn, but he could control how well he maintained his gear, how diligently he trained, and how courageously he stood his ground. This single shift radically reduces mental exhaustion. So much of our modern exhaustion comes from stressing over things outside our control. We worry about office politics, global events, or what others might be saying about us. A Stoic would say, "Is this within my power?" If the answer is no, you must practice acceptance and let it go. Redirect that mental energy toward what you can influence. You can't control a sudden project pivot from your manager, but you can control how you adapt, how you communicate your concerns, and the quality of the work you produce under the new circumstances. This shift in focus is incredibly liberating. It stops you from draining your battery on pointless anxiety. Another key Stoic practice is something called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It sounds grim, but it's one of the most effective resilience tools ever developed. The Stoics would regularly visualize worst-case scenarios. What if I lose my job? What if this project fails? What if I get sick? But they didn't just wallow in fear, they then planned how they would handle it. By mentally preparing for adversity, they stripped it of its power to shock and paralyze them. When a setback actually occurred, it wasn't a catastrophe. It was just a scenario they had already rehearsed. In modern life, this practice helps build incredible mental fortitude. Instead of living in vague fear of failure, you can calmly ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I don't get this promotion? Maybe you'd have to stay in your current role a bit longer, or look for a new job. Is it ideal? No. Is it survivable? Absolutely. By confronting your fears head-on, you build a foundation of confidence that protects you from the emotional roller coaster of modern work. You realize you are more resilient than you think. Now let's travel across the globe to feudal Japan and explore Bushido, the way of the warrior. This was the moral code that governed the samurai, Japan's elite military class. While Stoicism is a philosophy of logic and reason, Bushido is a code of honor, duty, and action. It is a framework that gave the samurai a powerful sense of purpose that transcended their personal feelings of tiredness or fear. One of the central tenets of Bushido is gi, or integrity and justice. This means having a strong moral compass and always doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. For a samurai, their word was their bond, and their actions had to be righteous. How does this fight burnout? Burnout often thrives in environments where we feel our work is meaningless or conflicts with our values. When you're forced to do things that feel wrong or pointless, it drains your spirit. Living with Gaiai means aligning your daily actions with your core values. It's about finding work and a way of living that feels meaningful to you. It's not about finding the perfect job. It's about bringing your integrity to whatever you do. Whether you're an artist, a software engineer, or a customer service representative, you can define what doing the right thing means in your context. It could be writing clean, honest code, treating every customer with respect, or creating art that speaks your truth. When your daily actions are an expression of your deepest values, work stops being a drain and starts becoming a source of energy and fulfillment. That sense of purpose protects you from emotional exhaustion. Another pillar of Bushido is you, or heroic courage. This isn't just about physical bravery on the battlefield. It's about the moral courage to face difficulty, to speak up for what is right, and to live with purpose. It's the courage to be honest with yourself about what you need. Many of us burn out because we lack the courage to set boundaries. We say yes to every request, we work late to please others, and we're afraid to ask for help because we don't want to appear weak. A samurai would view this not as diligence, but as a lack of courage. You is the courage to say, I cannot take on another project right now if I am to maintain the quality of my work. It's the courage to log off at 5 p.m. because you know rest is essential for peak performance. It's the courage to admit you're struggling and need support. True courage is not about being fearless, it's about acting in service of your well-being and your duty, despite your fear. Finally, Bushido emphasizes makoto, or complete sincerity. This means being authentic in your thoughts and actions. It's about living without a mask. In our corporate and online worlds, we often feel pressured to present a perfect, polished version of ourselves. This constant performance is exhausting. It creates a gap between who we are and who we pretend to be, and this internal conflict is a massive energy drain. Makoto invites you to be genuine. It encourages you to bring your whole self to your life and work. This doesn't mean oversharing or being unprofessional. It means being honest about your capabilities, your passions, and your limits. When you operate from a place of sincerity, you build trust with others, and more importantly, with yourself. You're no longer wasting energy maintaining a facade. You're just you. And that authenticity is magnetic and energizing. So, how do we combine these ancient codes into a modern strategy against burnout? It boils down to a few practical steps. First, adopt the Stoics' dichotomy of control. At the start of each day, or whenever you feel stressed, ask yourself, what is in my control and what is not? Write it down. On one side of a page, list the things you can't change. A coworker's bad mood, a tight deadline set by a client. On the other side, list what you can control. Your attitude, your focus for the next hour, your decision to take a short break. Consciously decide to release the first list and pour your energy into the second. Second, practice the samurai's principle of Gaiai by defining your personal code of conduct. What are your non-negotiable values? Honesty? Craftsmanship? Compassion? Write them down. Then review your daily tasks and see how they align with this code. Find ways to bring your values to life in your work. This creates a powerful sense of purpose that fuels you. Third, cultivate you, or courage. Identify one area where you need to set a boundary. Maybe it's not checking emails after 7 p.m. Maybe it's saying no to a social event when you need to rest. Start small and practice the courage to protect your energy and well-being. Remember, rest is not a weakness. It's a critical part of a warrior's strategy. And finally, embrace makoto, or sincerity. Practice being more authentic. Share a relevant personal story in a team meeting. Be honest about your workload. Allow yourself to be human. You'll find that letting go of the need to be perfect frees up an incredible amount of mental and emotional energy. Ancient warriors didn't have the luxury of burning out. Their survival depended on their mental and physical resilience. They built that resilience not through brute force, but through a disciplined mindset and a powerful code of conduct. Stoicism and Bushido aren't just dusty historical relics. They are proven, battle-tested operating systems for the human mind. By integrating their principles into our modern lives, we can do more than just avoid burnout. We can learn to face our own battles with clarity, purpose, and an unshakable inner strength. We can become warriors in our own right. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more ideas on how to live a stronger, more meaningful life. See you in the next video.